क्या बोल रहे हो? हाँ और क्या? पीपल इन ओआरएन, आपको ऑफलाइन आना है। चलो, so did you see the paper? ये कॉल लीजिए। Let me download the paper. हाँ? So what happened? बात किया? हाँ कर लीजिए, जल्दी से करिए। जिसको करना है करिए। Where is the paper? So okay, let's begin now. आप जरा टेलीग्राम पे चेक करिए, कहीं अगर पीडीएफ है तो प्लीज सेंड इट टू मी। ठीक है, इट मस्ट बी देयर। Images are there, but I want PDF. Yes, I got it now. I got it. I got it. All right. Can you see it now? My phone. Okay, thank you. Some people are asking me, sir, GS paper one dekhe? I'm about to discuss that. So, all right. PDF. So, all right, let's begin now. Let us begin now. So, there are 10 questions. When you get the question, how to start, from where to start. So, people, you can start. I'll suggest some questions from beginning should be written good, and some questions from last should be written good. But people who are having let's say geography optional or history optional, they can attend their what? The strongest part first. All right. So let me begin one by one, from question number 1 to we'll going till the end. All right. All right. So look at this. Look at this. How will you explain? Look at the question. How will you explain that medieval Indian temple sculptures represent the social life of those days? Look at this. How beautifully this question has been asked. So first, you will have to identify what are the medieval Indian temple sculptures which are there. What do you think? What kind of sculptures you can talk about? Or medieval Indian temple architecture you can talk about? All this Nagar, Dravid, Besara, Mughal style of architecture, all right, Rajputana style of architecture, all these will be what? Indicating towards the, even some of the regional, like Solanki, Chandelaj, these kind of temple architectures will be there in the medieval India. All right. So now you will have to say that basically, how will you explain that medieval Indian temple architectures represent the social life of those days? So what do you think that what kind of social life will be present? So there are different phases and different types of social life will be present. You will have to indicate towards the social life which is there. So let us take region wise region and then we discuss. So first is to northern India and then southern India. In northern India, Nagar style. Nagar style, you will have this what? The presence of wells. You'll have the presence of sanctum sanctorium. All right. Shrine and subsidiary shrine, elevated platform of temple. So what is the elevated thing significance? What is the social significance of that? That is signifying that temple is a religious place. All right. All right. A place of worship. A community hall is there. That means what? Where people can gather. All right. There are different medieval Indian architecture where you'll have the presence of community kitchen. Community kitchen specifically, because you see this Sikhism will come when? In the medieval India only. All right. So the presence of a community kitchen will be there. All right. And some of the sculptures like the origin the instances from Kama Sutra will be there. All right. Khajuraho temple. All right. And in Odisha school or Pal style of temple architecture. Pal style of temple architecture, you will have what? Some Rekha dual technique, some Buddhism, philosophy, Jataka stories, which will have the moral learnings. All right. And then Siddheswar Mahadev temple is also there in this Odisha style. And Sun temple will be there. Sun temple will be Solanki style of Sun temple. So it will be indicating towards what? The presence of water well. Presence of water well. So utility of a community water place where community can come and take up the water. All right. So these are indicating towards the what? Social life of those days. Social life means what? Gathering, community kitchen, community participation, and this what? Various themes of the life, day-to-day life, which will be also portrayed by the temples. Some of the this sculptures which are present in the Nagar style or the specifically in Besara style of temple architecture will indicate towards day-to-day life in the society. All right. So these are there. And if you talk about the South India, you'll have the Pallava style, Mahendra style, Narsimha group, Rajsimha group, Draupadi Rath. You will have this in Narsimha group, Dharmaraj Rath to Draupadi Rath will be there. So that is what? That is indicating towards the religious aspect of the then Gopuram. What is the significance of huge Gopuram? Again, the significance of temple playing a very, very important role for the society. All right. And then some of the in Vijayanagar kingdom, temples were used as the important tool of administration. Yes, tell me. Ask her. अभी मैं बिजी हो गया, ठीक है, ढूंढ लो ना, यू विल फाइंड इट. नहीं मिल रहा है, रुको. Do not disturb. I want it to be focused. And you can ask, although you can suggest me. देखो, did you get that? मिल गया? So some of the important kingdoms like Vijayanagar kingdom, Nayak school, Hoysala architecture, these are what? These are the medieval Indian architecture. And in Vijayanagar kingdom, the temples played a very significant role, all right, in administration. So people came to temples for the community gathering. And then some of the Sultanate administration, all right, will be basically indicating towards presence of what, for example, this Qutub Minar which is there, all right, Qutub Minar which is there, this what do you call, Taj Mahal, Charbagh style which is there, so that the place is given for a massive gathering, all right. Yes, Chhajja, Jharoka, so that is indicating towards what, in Rajputana style, let's say in Rajasthan, you see that the windows will be at very high, so that is somehow indicating towards the poor status of women, all right. Women will be not be coming out direct from that. There will be chalis which will be there on the windows, so that is indicating towards what, poor status of women. So there are so many points which we covered, all right. And what is the structure which we have given? The structure is given North India, you can say West India, all right, which will include the Gurjar Pratihar to Rajputana kingdom, all right, and then South India, and then in the middle Karnataka region you will have this Vesara style, all right. And all these will have, and one other thing, the new religion which came up, that is Sikhism, all right. So on the basis of Sikhism, we discovered about the community kitchens and all. So it is indicating towards what, the social life which is present in the medieval India, all right. So how to conclude that? You can say the understanding the social significance of medieval Indian temple sculptures can help in what, the research and development in Indian heritage or Indian art and culture, like that. You can see. Next question, देखो, 10 marker. Why did armies of British India Company, mostly comprising of Indian soldiers, win consistently against the more numerous and better occupied enemies of the then Indian rulers? So if I say you first, after thinking this question, after seeing this question, first you will have to identify what all rulers were defeated by Britishers from India. So if I say, Rajputana were very prosperous when Britishers came, all right, yet you will see that they will have the very good amount of soldiers in good numbers, and Britishers were very few, but they ruled. What were the region? That's what is the question. So I'll say there are different things. Rajputana, there will be Bengal, there will be Marathas, there will be what? Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali episode, all right. And there will be Sikhs. After Ranjit Singh, there was no prominent ruler, all right. So all these has to be written in this, all right. So the question is very straight. You'll say Britishers came around what? Or Britishers came as a East India trading company. Britishers came as a East India trading company. And over the period of time, they managed to win over most of the Indian rulers. Most of the Indian rulers. All right. So there are different regions for it. So tell me, can you create a this a map where all Britishers defeated? Look at this. Why did armies of British East India Company, mostly comprising of Indian soldiers, ये question नहीं है, win consistently against the numerous and better equipped armies of Indian rulers? Give reasons. So the question is this: why Britishers won over Indian rulers despite the condition was favorable for Indian rulers? All right. So there are two types of regions. The regions can be categorized in two types. Number one, regions which are internal in nature, in India. All right, are regions with respect to Indian rulers and regions favoring Britishers. All right. Are ye structure denge? So when you have given this two structure, I'll give you. I have given you a thought process, but do not take up that. You can create a map here very beautifully about the defeats, all right, which is there from Bengal to Sindh, specifically some regions in Tipu Sultan, Anglo-Maratha wars. You just write that, and here you write who was defeated here. Mir Jafar. Whatever you know about that, you can talk about that. In Tipu Sultan, what do you think? The Britishers started defeating from the second Anglo-Mysore war, not the first Anglo-Mysore war. All Britishers will be defeated, and Marathas will be continuously defeated. Continuous defeat. Rajputanas will also be defeated. All right. And then you'll have to this Sikh after Ranjit Singh. It will be the defeated, and Dalhousie finally assimilated or integrated this part, this northwestern part in the British Indian Empire. All right. We are coming to that. We have written introduction. We have given one diagram. All right. And then for regions, we are giving two structure. Number one is regions, internal regions with respect to Indian rulers, and regions with respect to favoring Britishers. All right. And then regions with respect to Indian rulers, you talk about internal rivalry, lack of defined leadership, internal rivalry, lack of defined leadership, treachery here specifically, and you give examples also. Treachery by, in case of what? Mir Jafar. Treachery by Mir Jafar. Sirajuddaulah, against Sirajuddaulah. All right. Our rivalry specifically among Rajputanas, among this Marathas. All right. Lack of clear or defined leadership will be there in the case of Marathas. Lack of defined leadership will be in the case of Marathas. Why in Marathas? Because Peshwas became more powerful than that of the king. All right, over the period of time. So it was the Peshwa, virtually Peshwa rule was there. So there was, this, if you talk about unity of command, which was not there, which was not present. All right. And, the lack of nationalism. You'll say at that time, nationalism was not there. Lack of nationalism, indulgent nature of the rulers. Some of the rulers who were indulgent in nature. All right. We have got, with respect to Rajputana specifically, we have got a considerable amount of modernization. That's what the question is saying. All right. Factors favoring Britishers: divide and rule, specifically against Tipu Sultan. The policy of carrot and stick, divide and rule. Continuous supplies, unified command. Continuous supplies to the army, unified command. The continuous training was provided to the army officials. So basically what you see that army which was there in the Britishers, this army was what? Was given a clear command with a defined leadership. You'll have all the able leadership which will be there under the heads of Lord Cornwallis, Lord Dalhousie in the case of after Ranjit Singh. So divine leadership will be there, and British training, British techniques. So basically you say that in the conclusion, we move towards the conclusion. We have written more than 10 points. Can you see that? We have written more than 10 points with the examples. And you can also write the techniques of subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, this, the expansions which were there. Subsidiary alliance by whom? Wellesley. And doctrine of lapse by Dalhousie. So in conclusion, what you can write? What you can write in conclusion? In conclusion, you can write about. You can write about. You say that the Britishers, winning over different territories helped in consolidation of British Indian Empire. Consolidation of British Indian Empire. All right. And it subsequently became the basis for British rule. All right. Next question. Dekho. What? There is a structure which is given. हाँ बोलो. वो structure, you do not have to give the structure like Rajputanas, Marathas. Look at the question. Question is demanding why did armies fail? So you give the region. These kingdoms, Rajputanas or Marathas, will be used as the example, not as the structure. You see the question, na? You see the notion of the question. Why did British Indian Company mostly comprising of Indian soldiers? So British Indian Company, in the introduction only, you have stated that British were very few. British soldier also comprised mostly of Indian soldiers. All right. So you say it in the beginning only, and that is what you have to mention about that. After then, you will have to move towards this thing which has been asked. Why was there a sudden spurt in famines in colonial India since the mid 18th century? Give regions. Tell me. So mid 18th century, what happened in mid 18th century? I'll tell what. So you just I'll say one very important incident in mid 18th century, and because of which you'll have the famines. What is that event? That is Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar. So you start with that. In introduction, you start like what? After Battle of Buxar, Britishers gained control. Britishers gained control over what? Bengal region or Bengal presidency, over Bengal region. All right. And what kind of control it was? It was a dual control. Through Diwani rights and right to nominate Daroga, and through that you'll have Nizamat rights also. All right. So that was an incidence of power without responsibility. All right. And then after then you'll say that several famines which came during that time was the famine of 70-70s. Number one, famine of 70-70s. Chalisa famine. You know about this Chalisa famine? Chalisa famine. Chalisa famine came during 1790s. But why the name Chalisa? Because of the Bikram Sambat calendar. That was 90s, 1790s. But through Bikram Sambat calendar, that was in 40s. So that was Chalisa famine. All right. This came basically, and there is one more famine which is Dojivara famine. Okay, so you can write this Chalisa famine, Dojivara famine. So why there was a sudden spurt in famines in colonial India? So there are two types of regions which are there. Number one is what? Natural regions, and number two is what? Number two is the politico-administrative and economic region or anthropogenic regions. Under anthropogenic regions, you will be having this the politico-administrative regions, economic regions, all right, and social regions. So what a beautiful structure you have given. Look at this. Do you have the dearth of point now? Natural regions and anthropogenic regions. Under anthropogenic regions, I'll say that some of the socio-cultural regions. So what do you think that natural regions will be there? What do you think natural regions will be there? So you understand the definition of famine. Famine is shortage of food. It is not synonymous with the drought. Alright, it is more anthropogenic, but it is supported by the presence of El Nino in that years, specifically Chalisa famine and Dojivara famine. So El Nino, presence of El Nino. Specifically, example will be Chalisa famine and Dojivara famine. All right. Politico-administrative region. What will be the politico-administrative regions? Number one is Diwani and Nizamat rights were given to the Britishers. All right. And subsequently coming up of land revenue policies such as permanent settlement, Mahalwari and Rayotwari. So these will be what? Very much exploitative for the farmers. Exploitative for the farmers because of the heavy taxation. So economic regions, you can come in economic regions, you will have the heavy taxation, poor marketing and export mechanism for the domestic or the Indian farmers. All right. And the monopolies has been created by Britishers. After subsidiary alliance specifically, what happened that majority of the grains were diverted for the Indian soldiers, army. All right. Direct relief measures were very poor. All right. And some of the other regions which are like at that time, some of the famines are supported or aggravated by the epidemics like smallpox epidemics which were there at that time. Hai smallpox, crop failure which is there, the presence of crop failure. Did we write more than 10 points? 10 points हुआ कि नहीं? एंड पहले भी 2 था, नेचुरल में भी है, ठीक है. ऑलराइट. एंड सो उसके बाद फिर if you wanted to increase the point, you can write about the competition from the this the Britishers. Monopoly was there and competition from the Britishers. The increased focus by Britishers on the commercial crops, all right, rather than the food grain crops, resulting into the famine. Clear? Make sense? So what will be the conclusion? Up 10 points हुआ. So conclusion, what will be the conclusion? The famines of mid 18th century, the famines of mid 18th century has brought the situation of poverty and hunger among Indians, and this made Indian population more vulnerable to colonial rule, or you can say colonial exploitation increased subsequently after that. Clear? Making sense? Next question. देखो, geography. Describe the characteristics and types of primary rocks. So what do you mean by I wanted to ask you about the primary veins, where the word primary is there. What do you mean by that? Or secondary and tertiary? Yes, very good, very important. So primary is very fundamental. So very fundamental in creation. All right. So primary circulations will be the Hadley, Feller and polar cells. All right. But secondary will be after mixing these primary things, you will have the secondary, and tertiary will be mostly local in nature. So what is this primary? Primary rocks. Primary rocks are those rocks which are directly forming from the earth substance. So igneous rocks will be the primary rocks. All right. So primary rocks are the crystalline rocks. Crystalline rocks mainly formed from the new or newly formed particles. It has never been constituted. It has never been the constituents of previously formed rocks, primary rock. Then it will ask about the characteristics such as granite. You can write about granite. So characteristics of primary rocks, you write about the characteristics. So yes, dense, you can write stratified, polished surface will be there. All right. Crystals will be there, or greasy surface will be there. All right. And it will be forming the majority part of the earth crust. It will have silica content which will be there. It is formed from cooling off of lava. All right. So these all will be the primary rocks formation. And primary rocks will be what? What are the different types of primary rocks? So if you talk about the igneous rocks, so you talk about the types on the basis of the presence, on the basis of the occurrence. So extrusive type and intrusive type. All right. So extrusive will be on the surface and intrusive will be what? Below the surface. Number one. And on the basis of what? You'll say that when this is on the sea floor, so this will be the basaltic rock. When it is on the surface, it will be what? It will be the igneous rocks. So on the basis of location, so basaltic rocks and igneous rocks. And on the basis of what? Nature. So in nature, you will have the types of igneous rocks which will be there. Look at this. I'll show you. You can write from this whatever you remember. All right. This is hardcore what? Geology. All right. So on the basis of that, this kind of things you can write. Did you understand? So three different types of primary rocks which is there. So primary rocks will be generally found what? Will be forming the major rock system on this earth crust. All right. So, and it will be the basis for what? Formation of sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. So you'll say about that in conclusion. Sedimentary rocks are not, basalt is not sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are igneous rocks will break down and it will come together to create a sedimentary rock because of the pressure. All right. So sedimentary rocks are not this this basaltic rocks. All right. So in conclusion, keep on writing if you can or understand maximum. So primary rocks are what? Are the basis for formation of secondary and tertiary rocks. And understanding the characteristics and types of primary rock system can help in economic planning of the region. Next question. Look at this question. Discuss the meaning of color-coded weather warning for cyclone-prone areas given by IMD. Have you ever seen this warning? Have you ever seen this warning? So cyclone are there. What do you see then? Only news. Also. So there are basically two types of this color coding which is provided by IMD. Number one is with respect to the location, and number one is with respect to number number 2 is with respect to the what do you call this which is happening, the cyclones which is happening. All right, so let me find it, I'll show you. So I'll tell. I'm not finding a suitable image. So I'll tell how it is being stated. All right, this is your India's map, which you can create it there also. So number 1 is with respect to here. Let's say some of the color coding will be what? Some of the green areas. So these are the, let's say, green areas. These are the green areas. All right. Right, because mostly if it is not a El Nino year, so this area will be green area. All right, it will be green area. Green means less vulnerable. All right, and there is some part of it will be what? Yellow areas. These are yellow areas. All right, what is the meaning of yellow areas? So green area and some yellow areas, green, yellow, and then blue areas. Blue areas will be what? Some this region will be blue. All right, and some red areas. These are the red areas. So blue areas, this will be blue areas, and this will be red areas. There are 4 kind of coding, and you understood what? Yellow is least vulnerable. Number 1, least vulnerable, and green is moderate vulnerable, and blue is what? High vulnerability, and red is extreme high vulnerability. Number 1 is this. But this is not just the color coding. All right, after this, the second color coding is there, which will be there. 1 is 72 hours earlier, which will be provided. All right, which is for pre-cyclone watch. And then second will be provided 48 hours earlier. And here distance, when distance is around 500 kilometers from the coastline, then there will be cyclone alert warning. All right, and then you'll have 24 hours earlier. All right, 24 hours earlier, which is within less than 500 kilometers. When it is less than 500 kilometers, so this is what? This is called cyclone warning. And after then it will also be issuing this what? Post landfall outlook, when it will be stated 12 hours earlier. And this will be less than 200 kilometers. So these all are also color coded. These are also color coding of this will be there. So look at the question now. Look at the question now. You have created these 2 maps, and look at the question now. This is not the answer of the question, complete answer of the question. All right. discuss the meaning you will have to discuss, of color coded warning for cyclone prone areas given by IMD. So you can talk about the meaning of different colors, cyclone prone areas, that yellow is least vulnerable, green is the moderately vulnerable, all right, and which one, red is high vulnerable, and blue is also vulnerable. All right, so a strategic action plan should be there with respect to blue. In red alert is the warning, is an indication for what? The extreme levels of coordination, the disaster management approach with what? With the means you will have to write, you'll have to write with respect to all these four, what are the meaning. So when extreme high is there, what do you think through disaster management? There are 3 to 4 points which you can write. So disaster management approach, evacuation plan, unified command system, a trigger mechanism should be ready. All right, when blue is there, then the command and control should be established, human resource deployment, all right, the safe spaces should be located, all right. When it is green, then the alert should be located, people should be made aware of, all right. And yellow, then there also the least vulnerability, so there just awareness should be there, that they are very less vulnerable, all right. And here also 1 or 2 points which should be there, 72 hours earlier. So here this is with respect to the space factor, and this is with respect to the time factor which is there. So when time factor is there, so what is the meaning of that? 72 hours earlier, that means the maximum levels of preparedness, mitigation measures should be there, all right. 48 hours earlier, the evacuation plans and the resettlement plans should be there, or the administrative plans should be activated. 24 hours earlier, what will be the 24 hours earlier? What will be 24 hours earlier? Immediate plans should be taken care of. And 12 hours earlier will be what? Post landfall outlook, that how it will look after the landfall. This has to be seen, this has to be understood very clearly. Did you understand? So then you will be saying, what? That clear understanding or clarity in this warning system with the help of color coding, will help in efficient disaster management planning and ultimately short-term and long-term what? Mitigation of those disasters. Next question. Discuss the what? Discuss the natural resource potentials of Deccan Trap. What do you think that Deccan Trap, where is it located? Can you create a map of Deccan Trap? So it will be like that. So some part is here and part is here. This is the Deccan Trap. This will also be having Deccan Trap. This will also be having Deccan Trap. Why Deccan Trap? Because it is formed out of basalt, reunion, hotspot lava, has been solidified to form the Deccan Traps. Traps means what? It is a what? Stair-like structure. There will be presence of rift valleys in that, such as some of the rift valleys will be there, the source of waters which will be there, which will be present. Narmada Son Rift Valley will be the part of this Deccan Trap. Even Malwa Plateau is the extension of Deccan Trap only. Deccan Trap, Peninsular Plateau and Deccan Trap are two different things. Garo Khasi is what? peninsular plateau. Do not consider that as a Deccan trap. All right. So here, what is the economic significance? Economic resource, natural resource potentials. So you write in natural resource potential, mineral resource, mineral resource, water resource, forest resource, soil as a resource. Which mineral do you think that in Deccan trap will be there? Montmorillonite and metallic minerals will be there. Metallic minerals and montmorillonite in soil specifically. So either you write montmorillonite in soil. What kind of soil will be there here? Black soil, regur soil. And this black soil, regur soil will have what? The cotton and sugarcane cultivation potential. Self-plowing soil. These are also called self-plowing soil. If you talk about some of the water resources which are present in this region, what are the water resources? What do you think? What are the water resources which will be there? Narmada, Tapi, rivers. Rivers like Narmada and Tapi. You can say about from Nasik region, you'll have this is the origin of, this is elevated land. So this is the origin of what? Various rivers, west flowing rivers as well as east flowing rivers. East flowing rivers like Godavari, Krishna. All right. And in Deccan trap, you will also have the extension of the parts of Western Ghat which is there. So natural resource potential is what? Food, fodder, fuel. And then not just that, it will have ridge and valley topography, which is resulting into what? The tourism, ecotourism in that region. So understanding the natural resource potential, look at it. If you are writing like that, you talk about that in the beginning, that in Deccan trap are spread in this Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka region mainly, and it is made up of reunion hotspot island lava and basalt, and it's the resource potential can be seen in the following ways. All right, and you give the structure, you write it with a lot of examples, and then a conclusion, integrating the resource potential with regional planning of Deccan region can help in bringing a balanced regional development, or can bring the regional prosperity in the region. Yes. अभी बताया ना, लिख नहीं रहे हो तो दिमाग में कहाँ जाएगा? So have I given the structure very clearly? The metallic minerals, soil based, biodiversity based, the water based, the ecotourism based. These are the natural resource potential. All right. Next question. Examine the potential of wind energy in India. Explain. Look at this. If you are writing like this, trust me, you will getting 60%. Minimum 60% will be there. You have got the diagram, you have got the extent, you have got the structure, you have got an introduction, suitable introduction and suitable conclusion. What else do you think that you need? All right. So people who are writing mains, they will watch this after their examination also. They'll find that very relevant. Examine the potential of wind energy in India and explain the regions for their limited spatial spread. So did we talk about this in the class? The class which we have discussed, we have already discussed about this. We are going to, I'll explain you once again. Discuss the potential of wind energy in India. What kind of potential do you think that you need to have? What kind of potential you can write here? So mind it, we are discussing about wind energy. So coastline, how does it matter? Yes. True. So just a second, I have a class. All right. Dekho, this is the diagram which we have talked. All right, that this is energy mix, and out of that, this is renewable energy. This is renewable energy. All right, and this renewable energy, out of that, you'll have the wind energy is what? 9.2%. Around 9.2%. So first you start with this. Number one, you just introduce with this, and then second, which we discussed here. Look at this. This is the potential of renewable energy which we talked. Out of that, this doubts which are there is talking about what? Wind energy potential. Look at this. This is also indicating towards the wind energy potential. This is for mountain bridge. This is for what? This is for sea bridge, oceanic bridge. So these are the spatial potential. These are the potential in the terms of data which you can use. All right. So look at this. Look at this here. The data, only 9.2% of the renewable energy share is indicating towards what? Wind energy. So it is having a massive potential in energy mix also, and in the with respect to the spatial extent also. All right. So only that much is there. So that means what? There is a huge potential which is there. The energy out of renewable energy. Out of renewable energy, yes, wind is more, maximum. All right. So for this, you'll say that you'll create those two diagrams. Can you create that? You'll say you start like this. Wind energy forms the important component of the renewable energy mix in India. Renewable energy mix in India. All right. And then immediately after that diagram, and after that diagram, there has to be one analysis which has to be given. The heavy dependence of India or Indian energy system or Indian energy scenario is on coal. And government of India is focusing upon diversification of energy sources. All right. So wind energies is having merely 9.2% contribution in the energy mix of India. After that, this indicates towards the massive potential ahead. And next, you will say that geographically, the regions which will have the wind energy potential will be the foothill areas, because of the mountain bridges, coastal areas because of the sea bridge and land bridge, and the areas where there is no construction, desert areas, in Western India specifically, because of the lands which are present and the presence of winds which are there. Clear, eh? Making sense? All right. And then you give some of the regional aspect of the potential of wind energy. So regional aspect, I will talk about the Rajasthan. I'll talk about the Northeast region. Do we have Northeast region wind energy potential? Yes. Mountain bridge, valley bridge, which is there. So smaller wind energy potentials will be there. All right. All right. But explain the regions. Next part of it is what? Explain the regions for their limited spatial spread. So then you will have to indicate towards where do you think that the wind energy has been, windmills has been installed. At the western part of India. Western part of India will have the maximum installed energy potential. So you'll say that western part of India will have the maximum wind energy potential. And then you will talk about causes, the regions for its limited spread. The regions for its limited spread. So what are the regions? How can you categorize? Think the structure. That's what I'm telling. Do not just stop at one point. Think about the structure. Number one, technology. Number two, cost. Number three, what? Our federal system. The availability of wind is also needed for the this wind energy potential. And then think about the urbanization. Human habitation is there. You can talk also about natural hazards. Why not? So natural hazards. So availability of space. In urbanization also it will be there. So availability of space, technological dependence, cost effectiveness. Are you understanding? How many points did you write? 7 points for that. So write the conclusion then. Yes, you'll have to write that India is huge dependence on technology for wind energy. So write the conclusion. Conclusion will be what? What is the conclusion? Wind energy. So since you started with the energy mix, so you say that wind energy alone have the potential to change the energy mix of India for sustainable development. नहीं लिखो, so has the potential alone नहीं लिखो, moderate कर दो उसको. So government should proactively focus upon what? Harnessing the maximum potential or utilizing the maximum potential of what? Wind energy. So this is how you can write. Next question. Look at this. Did I mention you? Tell me honestly, those people were in the class. Did I mention you that explore and evaluate the work from home on family relationships? The exact question has been mentioned in the class that work from home culture will be asked. So look at this. It is saying explore and evaluate the impact of work from home on family relationships. So number one, you have to explore. So you will say work from home culture. Work from home culture was present in some of the companies in pre-COVID era, such as Google, Apple. Some of the top-notch companies will have the work from home culture. But post-COVID, it has been aggravated. Or almost all the IT sector, design sector, or electronics industry are what? Are working from, are indicating what? Work from home culture. So explore, first explore. So explore means the impact. So you will have to give which all sectors. I told you, IT sector, electronics, this specifically design sector, and then data driven jobs which are there will be done from work from home. Number one. So explore the impact of work from home on family relationships. So what do you think that family relationships will be there? So will there be positive impact or will there be negative impact? Both. So you will have to evaluate. That's why. So number one, you will talk about, since you have to explore here, so you take up that the impact of work from home in different areas, hilly areas, rural areas, urban area, because that is the exploration what you are doing in northeast region of the country. So in hilly area, what will be there? Work from home culture. The software engineers are now staying with the family. So family bonding, the social capital is increasing. Increased amount of social capital in hilly area. So distance barrier, the barrier of the physiographic barrier, like the hill area, plain area, is crossed or is surpassed by this what? Work from home culture. Number one. Then rural area. Rural area. What happened here? Reverse migration and quality of life, standard of living improved with respect to family in rural areas. More exposure in rural areas. All right. And then what? Third, which all area? Urban area. In urban area, because the person who is going there, he is earning well. So not just his life is being enhanced, but the entire family's life will be what? Enhanced. The people go. Okay. Do not bring Jabardasti argument. All right. So I told you about the R1 area. What that will I will be coming. Evaluate. In evaluate, we will be coming, taking up different section. Old age, women, child. So that structure I have kept for, we are exploring now. There are two parts of it. Explore and evaluate. So we are exploring now. Exploring with respect to different regions. Evaluating with respect to different stakeholders. For women, for male members, for child, for old age. All right. So family relationships will be what? In the in urban area. In urban area, more time, the more family time will be there in the urban area. Evaluate the impact of work from home culture. So positive impacts and negative impacts. Positive impacts and negative impacts. So what will be the positive impacts? Positive impacts will be bounding social capital. triple burden of women will be reduced. Triple burden of women will be reduced. Paternity, maternity benefits will be there. So work from home culture is specifically beneficial for the mothers and the newborn babies, the parents taking care of newborn babies. All right. And then next is what? With respect to old age care will also be there, have increased old age care. These all are the positive points. All right. And the impact upon other institutions. Work from home culture are making people more available for the ceremonies like marriage. All right. So impact on not just family, but related institutions will also be healthier. Earlier, probably, now in India, a lot of people are working in United States company, but staying in India with their family. So they will be what? They will be basically the, they will be attending the marriages or other institutions, or other religious gathering, or this social gatherings will be attended by them. All right. But what are the negative impacts? Negative impacts. Yes, domestic violence. Increased instances of domestic violence. Increased family conflicts. अभी divorce तक बात पहुंचा नहीं है. So do not go too far. Increased family conflicts. All right. And then, this has led to what? Now, from this work from home, when this has happened, the good thing is that now male members are also contributing to household work. So the triple burden of female is reducing, but double burden of male is coming. All right. So these all points has to be written. This is a beautiful analysis. Positive. नहीं. Triple burden reduces. So that is that female's perspective. Look at this. That is what the work is shared. So negative, we will have very less points, and negative will be what? The exposure, the lesser exposure will be there with respect to the work. Lesser exposure will be there with respect to the work. All right. And there are a lot of things like when people go to the office, so a lot of things has to be set up in the office. Now from work from home culture, a lot of things has to be set up in the home. So that increases the financial cost on the females, on the family as a whole. So additional cost of setup for the family in the home. For the company. Let's say if you are having in company, probably you will be getting a good supercomputer access, or in the organization you will be getting good cafeteria, you'll be getting tea and coffee, or some of the people will not have the internet connection. All right. But when you are working from home, you will need to have the internet connection. All right. The printer should be there with you. Many people purchased iPad, all right, for working from home. So these all things are there. Question पढ़ो on family relationships, related with family relationships. ठीक है. So conclusion. Post corona, increased instances of work from home culture is blessing in disguise for family relationships. All right. And it should be utilized for the win-win purpose of the family, or it should be utilized for creating a healthy family and healthy relationships. Next question. How is growth of tier 2 cities related to rise of new middle class with an emphasis of culture of consumption? This instance, this quotation has also been several times used by me in the class which is there. So I talked about specifically the problems for the growth of urbanization, or problems of all the urbanization is what is focus upon tier 2 cities, creation of tier 2 cities. So this is somehow recognized by of new middle class with emphasis on culture of consumption. So first you identify some of the tier 2 cities. What do you think? Yes, Indore, Bhopal. It is on the basis of population. This is the next generation metropolitan which is coming up. Bhubaneswar, yes. Indore, Bhopal, Bhubaneswar. You can say Jalandhar also. Jalandhar also. So these many examples are a good number of examples. Kanpur also. Hana? Kanpur, Allahabad, why not? Bodh Gaya. So you talk about that. So you will have to show the growth of tier 2 cities along with rise of new middle class on the basis of culture of consumption. So look at this. This is the question which is there. This is saying tier 2 cities, rise of middle class. How? Through culture of consumption. So how it is happening? How it is happening? This has to be told by you. So tier 2 cities will have the employment opportunities which are what? Which are labor intensive. Which are labor intensive. And rise it. Then rise in this employment opportunity industries will be there. Leather based industries, gem and jewelry based industries. Labor intensive industries. Yes. So leather based industries. So that will be textile based industries. These kind of industries will be there. So in tier 2 cities, now the population is shifting from agriculture to industrial. All right, the part these are shifting. So this rise in income is creating a culture of consumption. All right, and then this culture of consumption is creating a what? Is increasing the quality of life or living standard of the people, and ultimately pushing these people in the middle class. Are you understanding? So this is one way because of employment cycle. Another way, there are different ways when you can say. Number one, through employment. Number three, through structure. Economic structure in the city is changing, and that is the reason for rise of middle class. What is the economic structure which is changing? From agriculture to manufacturing to services based industries which are coming up. Startup India, stand up India is what? Working in the tier 2 cities and resulting into creation of what? Creation of this middle class. Structure change. So number one, because of the employment. Number two, because of the structure change. And then you will be talking about what? The HDI, overall HDI. Overall HDI means the health standard, the education standard, and quality of life. All these three are increasing. Why? Because of increased infrastructural support, because of increased infrastructural support, because of increased what? Per capita income. And that is giving rise to middle class. Now, and fourth is what? With respect to the competition which is there. Competition is there. Competition, choices, and that is resulting into consumerism. This consumerism is indicating towards creation of again this middle class. Are you understanding my point? And this is a vicious cycle. All these has to be presented in the form of cycle. And then fifth point. All right. So this is also indicating bringing industrialization in the region. And because of industrialization, you will have the townships, you will have this better infrastructures which will be there. Industrialization and infrastructure, you can see. Industrialization, infrastructure, and innovation. So again, this is indicating towards rise of middle class. So did you focus that culture of consumerism? All right. So what will be the conclusion? You can say the concerns or the issues of urbanization or unplanned urbanization can be tackled by what? Issues of unplanned urbanization can be tackled by focus upon tier 2 cities as a what? As a growth center. So government should proactively engage with multiple stakeholders, such as private sector and civil society organization for development of tier 2 cities. Basically, you can consider all these smart cities which are there. These are the examples of what? Tier 2 cities. These are the examples of tier 2 cities. All right. Next question. Given the diversities among tribal communities in India, which specific context they should be considered with a single category? In which specific context should they be considered as a single category? All right. So can you talk about the tribal diversity in India? Can you create a map by while indicating some of the tribes like Munda, like Orang, like this Ho, like this Toda, like this Sompins, or Jarawaj, or like this this in MP, Gond, Saharia, Wheels. So can you create an India map indicating the tribal diversity? So you'll say that India is a land of diversity and multicultural or multi-ethnic nature of tribal communities in India indicates towards what? The presence of tribal diversities. Immediately after that, you are going to create a map. All right. showing that there are different tribes: Gond, Vel, Saharia, Ho in Chhattisgarh, Orang, Assam, this what? Lepcha, Aptani tribe will be what? Therein. Aptani tribe will be there in Arunachal Pradesh, है ना? Toda tribe, Nilgiri Hills. Some of the tribes will be there in this Rajasthan. You can also write about that. है ना? So this is, and you just cover it and you say that tribal diversity in India, or diversity of tribes in India. All right. So you explain this part of this tribal diversity, which is specific context should they be considered as a single category. All right. So you talk about the specific contexts where, although you write like this, that although every tribe needs a tribe specific approach, all right, and as recommended by Virginius Zaza committee also, all right. But in some contexts, they should be considered with the single category. You know that in tribes only we have got different committees. Devur committee, you know about that? What is that? PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Anna? If we talk about this Iyengar committee, you know what Iyengar committee? Did we discuss about that? Yes, Habitual Offender Act. Anna? So the criminal tribes, these are has been removed to habitual offenders. So when we talk about these two, are indicating towards different classification, all right, for with respect to different tribes. So, but question is not that. Question is saying that in which specific contexts should they be considered as single category. So we'll say the context in which the tribals should be considered in a single category. So context, in context of health benefits. In context of, because health benefits, what? You do not have the tribal specific approach. You can have the single approach. Health education, infrastructure creation like roads. In skill development also, skill development should be what? Tribe specific. Why tribe specific? Because these tribes are engaged in what? Some kind of works earlier. So there has to be food and skill and the culture. These all needs a what? Tribe specific approach. But the health, education, infrastructure, governance, rights of the tribals, rights and duties, in all these contexts, tribes should be considered as what? In the single category. How many points did we write? And where you will have to explain. Why you are considering that. So you know that this idea of tribal subplan is what? For considering the entire tribal as a single category. All right. So let's talk about the conclusion. Tribal communities needs a what? Or with respect to what? With respect to reservation also, in political point you can talk about reservation. direct benefit transfer. For that also, you need to consider tribes as a single category. So these things, for those things which are not questioning their ethnic diversity, which are not questioning their what, the diversity aspect, you should be considering that is what, they as a single category. So conclusion will be what? Government should strategically intervene in the government should strategically intervene in the development of tribals. All right, in the development of tribals. By focusing upon or by inculcating certain expert groups such as Virginius Jaja. Next question. Dekho. The political and administrative reorganization of states and territories has been a continuous ongoing process since mid-19th century. Discuss with examples. Very easy question. Very easy question. Isn't it easy? I think in the first question only we have discussed this. The second part of that only is here. Reorganization of states which is happening. Is it happening since then? So you will be talking about when Britishers merged home the Bengal, starting from Bengal, Battle of Palasi to Battle of Buxar, and to then Marathas, and to this or you can say Palasi, Battle of Palasi, Battle of Buxar, to Marathas, to Tipu Sultan, and to this what in the last one is the ruling over Awadh. So you talk about phase one of reorganization. Phase one of reorganization. What is the phase one of reorganization? Phase one will be what? Bengal, and there in the phase one, that's what other structure should be there. Phase one. All right. Here you'll have Bengal. Here you'll have Marathas. Here you'll have this what? Mysore, and what happened? And then you'll have this Bengal, Marathas, Mysore. All right. So, and then you'll have the Sindh. Live kahan ruka hai? It has not stopped. No break. एग्जाम के बीच में ब्रेक होता है क्या? चुपचाप पढ़ते रहो. जिसको चाय पीने जाना है, यू कैन गो. ठीक है? So Bengal, Marathas, Mysore. So this is phase one, and phase two will be what? Phase two. If I talk about phase two of reorganization, phase two will be what? With respect to Bengal division. Number one, Bengal division when 1906, 1905. Yes, 1905, and then in phase two only you will have this what? Some of the reorganization which will happen. For example, Bengal province will be separated from what? Odisha province, 1912. Phase three will have in phase two only you will have the annexation of Myanmar or integration of Myanmar, and phase three will be what? You can say this from 1935 onwards to the independence. So 1935 onwards to independence, you will have separation of Bihar from Bengal presidency 1936. All right. And then you can talk about what? India-Pakistan division. India-Pakistan division. And phase 4 will be what? Post-independence consolidation. It will have Jammu and Kashmir. It will have Junagadh. It will have Assam. It will have South Indian state reorganization committees. Assam Baj also there. Post-independence reorganization of the states. And after then it will not stop there. Phase 5 is in 2000, when you will have this reorganization with respect to what? Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and then Uttarakhand. And phase 6 is current, when Andhra Pradesh to Telangana. So these are the phases in which you have to discuss. Look at this. The political and administrative reorganization of states and union territory is continuous ongoing process since mid 19th century, discussed with examples. So we have given the examples. We have given the adequate examples. You can bring in between the Sikkim and northeastern states, different northeastern states. A creation of this in present creation of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. That is also what? Reorganization. Yes, tell me. 1850s. Around 1850s. So you leave then Bengal. After then everything will come. Yes. All right. So what about the conclusion? What about the conclusion? What about the conclusion of this? You will say that our constitution promotes India being a indestructible union of destructible states, or union of states, which indicates towards indestructible union of destructible states. So nationalism should outweigh regionalism. Nationalism should outweigh regionalism, and government, private sector, and civil society organization should come together for promoting this idea of unity in diversity. Next question. Discuss the main contributions of Gupta period and Chola period to Indian heritage and culture. So this is very, very easy question. I'll show you. This has been discussed also. I'll show you very quickly. So look at this contribution of Gupta period. The question is about what? Main contributions of Gupta period to Indian heritage and culture. 5 minutes break. How you will write mains, brother? ठीक है, जाइए. Till then I'll talk to some people who are there in online. जल्दी से, I will not wait more than 5 minutes. Okay. So let us begin now. Let us begin now. For those people who are doing online and offline, I'll say that after this only we will have the mains batch, which will be launched just after this mains, and in December, in around November last, we are going to launch the prelims batch. All right. So in mains batch, we have a very strategic plan for clearing mains, in which we are going to discuss the contents which are very, very smart in nature, all right, which you can use at multiple times, number one. And number two is we are going to cover 5 years question, previous 5 years question. And then we are going to cover also 4 tests, which are like the market tests, will have the evaluation and everything. And 2 tests will be there on which you will have one-to-one evaluation. All right. So you can sit with me with respect to those 2 tests which are there. So effectively, we are going to have 11 tests per subject. All right. 6 tests for, 5 tests for the previous year paper discussion or previous year papers, and 4 tests for the tests which we will provide you, and 2 tests for one-to-one discussion. So this is how total, if you say from essay to GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll have 55 tests which are going to be discussed in the classroom. Or you are going to write, I'm going to assess that, and there will be subsequent discussion. So for that, you can always contact us on the number which are mentioned on our channel website. All right. So look at this. This question is indicating towards a very clear structure which is already given in that. Number 1 is with respect to the Gupta period. Number 2 is with respect to the Chola period. All right. So discuss the main contributions of Gupta and Chola period to the Indian heritage and culture. So you will say that Guptas during the ancient time and Cholas specifically of medieval period, all right, have been the pioneers of Indian art and cultural, Indian art, culture and heritage. Here you can talk about this Gupta. You can talk about Gupta period, Gupta period and the heritage which Gupta period is having. Okay, thank you. Heritage which Gupta period is having, you'll have Gupta period and the science and technology which is there, presence of Aryabhat, Varam, here Brahmagupta, all these people will be there. So invention of zero to horse Ayurveda to this Aswa Ayurveda to Siddhant, Pi was invented in that time. So these are the contribution of Guptas in science and technological heritage. All right. Some of the literatures like Manusmriti will be there. All right. All right. In religion, you'll have Vaishnavism, Garud symbol will be there, and Gupta will be the pioneer of what? This, you'll say the temple architecture. So Nagar style of temple architecture will begin from Gupta period only. All right. So Gupta age is called golden age. Why? Because of its contribution towards art and culture. Some of the literature like Avigyan Sakuntalam, Malvika Agnimutram, Mitram, Kumar Sambhavam, Meghadutam, Ritu Samharam, Vikramorsariam, and Raghubamsa. All these things are there. Mudra Rakshas and Devi Chandraguptam. This Mrichikatiga. Mrichakatika will also be there. All right. And then Amar Kos, Uttam Charit, this Dasavatar temple, Ajanta painting, all these will be the contributions of what? Gupta period. All right. This is about the Gupta period. And this one is about the Chola period. All right. So Cholas were the people who were the brilliant navigators, and they were also called imperial Cholas. Why? Because they were highly centralized in nature, but the temples were considered as the important tool of what? Important tool of this navigation. Oh, sorry, important tool of administration. Okay. So if I say you contribution of Cholas, it will be, you can categorize it in the format of what? The temple architecture and the sculptures like Nataraj will be created by the Cholas. Temple like which temple? Mahabaleshwar temple. And in addition to temples, look at this. In addition to temples, you will have the what? The buildings like the health infrastructure which will be created, the administrative infrastructures which will be created. So all these will be, so hospitals, public utility services, hospitals, public utility services, all these will be constructed by Chola at that time. So that's why it will be called what? Chola will be called the pioneer of this Dravidian style of temple architecture. All right. Chola will also have, Gupta will also be there in numismatics. What kind of coins? Not just the gold coins, but also silver and copper coins will be there during the Gupta regime. All right. And during Chola also, you'll have the what? The coins. They will also have their own contribution in this numismatics. All right. So this is how you can write about the main contributions of Gupta period and Chola period to what? Indian heritage and culture. Main contributions of Gupta period and Chola period to Indian heritage and culture. All right. So what will be the conclusion here? What will be the conclusion here? How to write the conclusion? How to write the conclusion? Conclusion will be to, this the heritage, the Indian heritage and culture from Gupta period to Chola period, from Gupta period and Chola period, are the magnificent or the important intangible heritage site of India, or are the intangible heritage of India. All right. So government should focus upon what? Protection and promotion of the efforts, protection and promotion of this valuable heritage. All right. Then next question. Ajo, next question. Ajo. Discuss the significance of lion and bull figures in Indian mythology, art and architecture. Batao. Mythology, do you know? What do you know? Lion. Where do you think that lion, what lion symbolizes? So significance, it is not just the where it is, but what is the significance? Are a lion is in Hindu mythology, it is signifying the what? The God's own vehicle. God's own vehicle, number one. Number two, and it is what? It is the considered, generally bull will be considered what? The Asur's vehicle. All right. So there will be the sculptures, there will be the script, this mythological significance where lion will kill bull. That is indicating towards what? The the goodness win over the badness, evil. So number one. All right. And then if I say mythological significance in Jatak stories of Buddha, also this lion and bulls were kept. Bulls were used as what? As the symbolic gods. Right. In Jatak stories, lions and bulls were there. So in mythological story, you know about the Lord Narasimha. He is also in the form of lion only, half lion, half human body. So that means what? Lion is also given human form in this what? Hindu mythology, where you will have the characterized. He will be for killing the Asur who was not defeated by anyone. All right. So these are the mythological significance. So you have written 4-5 points with respect to the mythological significance. All right. Art and architecture. All right. So art, in art, tell me about that. So if I say you about, let's start with prehistoric paintings. So do you have the figures of lion, geometrical figures of animals which will be there? All right. And bull shape animals will be there in what? Even in Bhimbetak cave, but that is in geometrical figure. And in mythology also, the single horned unicorn will be considered what? During Indus Valley civilization, that will be a very pious animal. All right. So if you talk about the seal which was there in Indus Valley civilization, the half broken seal, which was there, it will have the presence of lion as well as bulls. Both will be there. All right. So it is very significant with respect to Indus Valley civilization, art and culture. All right. All right. And then you talk about Indian mythology, you talk about the art. So we are talking about the art, and then you talk about the Buddhism. So Buddhism, you talk about this lions will be used as the capital in the pillars, single shaft pillars. For example, Sarnath, Rampurba bull capital. Bull is also as a symbolic capital in the what? In the monolithic pillar which is there. So that is what? The art which is there, sculpture which is there. All right. So what is the significance of that? These are signifying, capital is signifying what? Is given a high position. That means what? A godly significance of lions and bulls with respect to the Jataka stories which are there. All right. In mythology also, do you have the concept of Nandi? Nandi waje bull. Are Nandi waje lion or bull? Bull. So Nandi waje bull. So you know that, na? You can talk about that. This and Nandi is given the not just at places. The bull was considered the the vehicle of Asur, and the vehicle of Lord Shiva is considered as what? Nandi. So there it is given significance as God. Significance as God. Okay. And then you will have to talk about the architecture. So in architecture, in Ellora caves, in Ajanta, you will have only Buddhism. So in Ajanta caves, some of the paintings will have this what lions and bull figures. But in Ellora caves, there is a bull which is there. Bull sculpture, a massive bull sculpture which is there on the in front of the gates of Ellora caves. All right. In stupas is the architecture of Buddhism. What are the stupas? Stupas are basically the chatyas, the place of worshipping for Buddhism. All right. And Toran of stupas will have the Jataka stories mentioned on that. So on those Toran is nothing but it is the gateways. All right. On those Toran, on those gateways, you will have what? You'll have this sculptures or some of the sculptures of this. All right. So art and architecture, have you mentioned that? Even in Jain temples also, the the bulls and lions will be given godly significance. Godly significance. So what are the conclusion? Understanding the significance of lion and bull figures in Indian mythology, art and architecture, can help in the research and development of Indian culture, Indian cultural superiority. इस तरीके से आप लिख सकते हैं. Next question, come. What are the forces that influence ocean currents? Describe the role in fishing industries of the world. Describe the role in fishing industries of the world. This question is directly, I think I have asked it several times. What are the forces which influence the ocean currents? So the forces, think about the forces. So there will be what? There will be gravitational force, pressure gradient force, Coriolis force, है ना? Frictional force, tidal force. Why not? Differential gravitational pull. All right, है ना? So you write down the forces that influence ocean currents. It will say ocean currents. How to write the introduction? Ocean currents you'll say that around circulation and surface ocean currents are the outcome of the different forces acting upon them. Such forces are forces of gravity, number one. Forces of gravity, Coriolis force, and then frictional force, pressure gradient force, forces because of piezoelectric head. All right. So you can also talk about that this differential gravitational pull, and that is tidal force. And there are different things. You can also talk about this cohesive force and adhesive force. And tell me, do you know everything about that? Do you know everything about all these? Because of the temperature difference, because of the temperature and salinity difference which is there. So there will be a force which will be driving the oceanic currents. All right. Can you mention the one line about that the gravity is one of the reason why this globular mass in the ocean will be moving. All right. And next is what? I told you about the friction force. And because of this friction force, you will have the Ekman spiral. Ekman spiral, which will be there, air friction and the surface level friction. All right. Pressure gradient force will be indicating towards the flow of the water towards from one place, from high pressure zone to low pressure zone. And then you will have this what? The Coriolis force will be indicating towards creation of gyre in a particular fashion. That gyre in North Atlantic region, you will have the what? In North Atlantic region, which kind of gyre it will have? Clockwise. So that clockwise gyre is one region is Coriolis force also. All right. All right. So did you understand how the forces influence the oceanic currents? How the forces influence the oceanic currents? Their role in fishing industries of the world. So role in fishing industries, oceanic currents and their role. So it is indicating towards, you know what are the forces that influence the oceanic currents. You'll have to refer to these forces while indicating their role in the fishing industries of the world. So so that is nothing but the currents are moving. That means some force is acting. All right. So you'll have to say when warm current and this cold current meet, warm current and cold current meet, that creates what? That creates a good zone of fishing, because the productivity of that zones, upwelling zones. Here the forces of buoyancy will be active, and forces of buoyancy will be what? Will be bringing the nutrients from below to the surface, and the surface region will be what? Will be better fishing zones. So forces of buoyancy will be making the better fishing zone in Peru, Chile region. All right. Japan will be what? Kuroshio and Oyashio current mixing, and mixing of these two currents will be indicating towards creation of a good fishing zone near Japan. So development of fishing industries of the world are what? Fishing industries of the world are located near the raw material which is present. All right. So Japan, Newfoundland, Falkland Island, because of the Falkland current and this current which is there. Newfoundland zone. All right. So these have been because of what? Because of the oceanic currents. Clear? Making sense? So there are basically you have to do the regionalization, and there are two types of zones where you will have the fishing zones. Number one, cold water, warm water meets. Number two, the cold upwelling zones because of the cold currents which are there. Cold currents associated with offshore winds. All right. Conclusion. What are the conclusion? Conclusion. Integrating the role of oceanic currents in development of fishing industries. Can bring what? Can be a suitable move towards harnessing the benefits of blue economy. And you can also say blue revolution. Next question. There you go. Describing the distribution of rubber producing countries indicate the major environmental issues faced by them. What a beautiful question. Rubber industries, where do you think that these are located? Rubber industries, tropical region. So when you know about tropical region, can you give me some of the countries which are having the rubber producing countries? Do we have in India rubber producing centers? Specifically Kerala, Northeast region, and some of the regions like, yes, Indonesia, why not? Southeast Asia, even China is also having this rubber producing industries. And Africa, in Africa, you'll have the regions like Ghana, Congo, Nigeria, and in South America, you'll have Brazil. So create a map indicating what's distribution of rubber producing industries. Or can you create a world map? All right. So all these regions, this region, वहीं बैठो, पीछे बैठो, this region, आओ इधर आओ, वहीं बैठोगे, this region, and this region will be having what? Will be having rubber producing industries. So these are the rubber producing industries. So once you have created this map, once you have created this map, about the rubber producing regions, indicating some of the countries, name the countries like Brazil, Nigeria, Ghana, India, China, etc. And you will say then that rubber is specifically a tropical crop. आगे बैठोगे, इधर आओ, अच्छे से आना, इधर टकराना नहीं है, यहाँ टकराना नहीं, हाँ ठीक है, ठीक है. So now you will have to indicate. So you will have to indicate the issues faced by these industries. So environmental issues. What are the environmental issues? I will say divide these environmental issues in two parts because this is the industry. So backward linkage issues, environmental issues with respect to the backward linkages, and environmental issues with respect to the forward linkages. They will look at this. Now you can easily create 10-15 points in that. So when I say the environmental issues with respect to the backward linkages, that means I am saying environmental issues with respect to the rubber plantation. So what is happening? There are issues with respect to climate change, issues with respect to urbanization, issues with respect to what? Shortage of labor. All right. So what will be there? So describing the distribution of rubber producing areas indicate their major environmental issues faced by them. Okay. So environmental issues faced by them are what? Rubber are water intensive industries or agriculture. Rubber plantation is what? The water intensive plantation which is there. Agricultural crops are what? The food crops are replaced with the what? The commercial plantation. So that is also creating the issues with respect to the food security, which is there. Post-harvest management is also very, very challenging. Moreover, when you talk about the environmental issues with respect to the what? Forward linkages. What will be the forward linkages environmental issues? है ना? So you'll say the pollution, rubber-based industries are water-polluting industries. All right. So pollution which is happening, deforestation which is happening. All right. High water consumption, so increasing water stress which is there. And moreover, the rubber-based products. Do you think these are biodegradable products which are coming up? No. So the issues of what? Management of waste. Issues of management of waste. लिख दिया 10 points हो गया 10-15 points 13 points हो गया. Are you understanding my point? So this is how you can write. This is how you can write. All right. So
environmental issues faced by them even. So environmental issues because of them or faced by them?
Both. Environmental issues associated with them. Faced by them means what? It is faced by them because of the backward linkage and because of the forward products which are there. Those are also environmental issues which are faced by them.
Sea level rise
उतना दूर कहाँ जाएंगे आप? Sea level rise हो रहा है. How it is impacting this rubber based industries? So sea level rise हो रहा है, उसके कारण कोरोना आ गया. I'll justify that.
The climate change.
Huh? Climate change is what? Increasing the temperature. That is directly impacting the rubber. Sea level rise is, related with corona. I'll say this according to that notion, and it can also be stated that sea level rise has brought corona in India. Why not? इतना देर से क्या बता है? So that's why they are facing this issue, that they are polluting, they are creating the products which are non-biodegradable in nature. So waste management is the issue faced by them. All right. Next question. Mention, so conclusion. What will be the conclusion? What will be the conclusion of this question? Rubber-based products are the, rubber-based products are very essential part of the supply chain market, global supply chain. All right. So what? The issues of with respect to the rubber plantation. The issues with respect to rubber plantation should be what? Tackled with sustainable approach. Next question. Come towards next question. Mention the significance of straits and Estimas in international trade. What a beautiful question. What is strait and what is Estimas? You need to define that in the beginning. So strait is a narrow water beach. Is this the strait? No. One land is separated by two water bodies is Estimas, and one water body is separated by two land is what? The strait. For example, Malacca Strait is an important sea lane of communication for Indian Ocean region. All right. So you will have to talk about the significance of straits and Estimas in international trade. So take up straits separately and Estimas separately. So you first in the beginning you will define straits and Estimas. Then you will talk about significance of straits. And can you give the what? regionalization of this straits ways to trade. How many straits do you know that where you will have the trade? So in Southeast Asia, there will be several straits. Number one, Malacca Strait. You'll have this Johor's Strait, and there are other straits which are there. Malacca Strait, Johor's Straits in Southeast Asia. Near that, you'll have the Panama Canal, Suez Canal region. So Panama Canal where? North America and South America. All right. So you can talk about this. Yes. So you can talk about, you create a map. You can create a map and talk about different states and its role in serving the trade. So straits serving the what as an important trade route or as an important sea lane of communication for a particular region. Asia and Southeast Asia will be dependent upon Malacca Strait. So Asia Pacific connect will be because of the Malacca Strait. One of the busiest strait it is there. All right. So look at this. The significance. First is what? Locational significance. Second is what? Connectivity or connectivity significance. And third is what? The cargo significance. International trade, it will be what with respect to the cargo? Strategic significance. Why not? Strategic significance in international trade. And then you will have the trade pattern significance. Significance with respect to trade patterns. Significance with respect to trade patterns. How? Because a strait is a narrow passage, so because of which it can be controlled. A controlled trade can happen from the straits. So straits can be used as a tool to control piracy with respect to the trade. Piracy with respect to the trade. Straits will helping in bulk of the brick facility for the trade. All right. All right. Isthmus. Isthmus. What is the in straits also will be creating an alternative trade route. Isthmus. What will be there with respect to the isthmus? What will be? Give me some example of isthmus. Kra. Yes, Isthmus of Kra. Where is that Isthmus of Kra? Just above Malacca Strait. All right. So Isthmus of Kra is having the future potential to replace the trade volume of Malacca Strait. All right. So you will say that what? Isthmus, because both the sides it will have the sea access. So it is what? Multimodal transport routes will be created because of the isthmus. Multimodal transport routes will be created because of the isthmus. Isthmus will be helping in what? Land sea what? Trade management. Integrating railroad maritime connectivity. Railroad maritime connectivity. All right. International trade, in shaping international trade pattern. International trade pattern. Such as number one, international trade pattern, such as number one. What will be there? Role of isthmus in different regions. How it is catering to different regions, you will have to talk. Can you tell me about that? Isthmus of Panama, yes. You can talk about Isthmus of Panama is there. So catering to the region of North America as well as South America. This is how you can say. All right. So Isthmus, Southeast Asia is integrated with Asia and China, or India and China, because of what? Isthmus of Kra. And Isthmus of Kra can be, I told you in the beginning, can be the alternative route for or this Strait of Malacca. All right. So conclusion, what will be the conclusion? What will be the conclusion? Conclusion will be what? The Straits and Isthmus can strategically you know strategically enhance cooperation with respect to blue economy. All right. So recognizing the importance of this Straits and Isthmus in international trade. Recognizing the importance of isthmus trade, the world community should what? World community should integrate their trade patterns on the basis of Isthmus and Straits as the nodes. Bolo, what was your question?
तो जैसे इसमें इंटरनेशनल लॉ है ह्यूमन लॉज उसमें मतलब जो बाउंड्री डिफाइन होती है ना तो मतलब यहाँ पे बहुत सारे नेशंस होते हैं तो उसमें लॉज में कोऑपरेशन नहीं लिख सकते हैं.
That is a different thing altogether. देखो, there is one topic and there are n number of things related to that topic. Try to be relevant as close as possible with respect to the question and with respect to the content which you have written earlier. All right. Next question is a very, very easy question. Troposphere is a very significant atmospheric layer that determines weather processes. How? I'll say about troposphere is the first layer from the Earth, and this planetary boundary layer is 6 kilometers near the pole and around 18 kilometers near the equator. 6 kilometers near the pole. So this is planetary boundary layer. So you can create this graph also. 6 kilometer and 18 kilometer. This is equator and this is pole. It is not 8. 6 kilometers and 18 kilometers. Okay. And it changes. It is not like with respect to the climate change, it is going up. All right. It is not very much fixed. All right. So troposphere is a very significant atmospheric layer. So I'll say now, determine whether how with respect to the primary circulation, with respect to the secondary circulation, with respect to the different weathers which are there. There are 3 structures which I have created. If I talk about the weather means what? It is talking about the wind speed, it is talking about the precipitation pattern, it is talking about the temperature anomaly. All right. So troposphere will be what? The upper layer in which the Harrell-Hadley and polar cell will be Farrell-Hadley and polar cell will be there. First, this is the primary circulation, and on the basis of primary circulation, all the air masses, interaction of the air masses, jet stream, 2 jet stream, tropical jet stream and subtropical jet stream, subtropical jet stream and polar jet stream will be there in the as a part of the secondary circulation. Air masses will be within the troposphere only, and mixing of air masses will be resulting into the temperate cyclones within the troposphere. These tropical cyclones will also be there within the troposphere. So this is what? This is indicating towards an area, a region where all the phenomena which will be there. Can you suggest that how this primary circulation is related to the weather phenomena? Mixing through primary circulation. So distribution of temperature and winds Because of that, you will have the winds like westerlies, easterlies, and polar easterlies. So all the local phenomena with respect to the temperature, which is happening, are local weather phenomena which is happening. That will be because of this planetary boundary layer only, troposphere only. All right. Let me talk about the phenomena like this monsoon type of climate, East China Sea type of climate, or the phenomena like polar vortex, phenomena like El Nino, La Nina. All these are the phenomena of what? Troposphere. All right. So this is how you can say that how troposphere determines the because of cloud formation will also be within the tropospheric boundary layer. All right. It is tropospheric boundary layer for what? Long wave radiations. Long wave radiations are there, and because of this long wave radiations, troposphere will be what? Acting as a shield, under which all the weather phenomena is happening. So how? Because of the constituent of troposphere, because of the characteristics of troposphere, because troposphere will have a typical characteristics of lapse rate. As you go up, the temperature will fall down, but reversal in lapse rate because of certain phenomena will also alter the weather pattern in that region. Are you understanding my point? So this is how you can write. You are going to write this. Is it clear? Can you write it very clearly? There are so many points. So what should be the conclusion? What should be the conclusion in such case? Conclusion will be what? That you can help in weather prediction. So this understanding the mechanism of role of troposphere in the weather processes can help in weather prediction or prediction of weather events, weather related events. So this is how you can write the conclusion. All right. Next question, dekho. Analyze the salience of sect in Indian society vis-a-vis caste, region, and religion. Achha, what do you understand by sect? I told you one thing, that is race and ethnicity. What is the difference between race and ethnicity? Ethnicity is personal. Sex and gender. Sex is biological, gender is personal. Similarly, sect is personal. I belong to this sect. I belong to Radha Krishna sect, or I belong to this particular sect. That is my personal belief. I might belong to a different caste, but my sect is a different sect. Are you understanding my point? Now understand, when you understood the meaning of the sect, analyze the salience of sect in Indian society vis-a-vis caste, region, and religion. Yes, you can say group of people with the same belief system, same similar value system. So that is what sect. देखो हिंदी पढ़ो इसका। भारतीय समाज में जाति, क्षेत्र एवं धर्म के समानांतर पंथ की विशेषता की विवेचना कीजिए। All right. So there are different you can talk, you define first sect, and then you talk sect vis-a-vis caste, or caste based sects. Why not? Caste based groups are there. Karni Sena, Ranveer Sena, all these are the caste based groups. Even this caste based groupings are present in some of the Naxalism which is there in Bihar. So this is what? Sect vis-a-vis caste, sect vis-a-vis region. So Bengalis, Marathis, Bodoland, son of the greater Nagalim. So all these are what? Sect with respect to a region. All right. And sect with respect to religion. So in Hindu or in Muslim also, there are different groups, there are different sects which are there. In Muslim, Shia sect, Sunni sect, In Hindus, there are different sects which are there. Are you understanding my point? There are different sects in the Hindu also. So these three, number one, you'll have to take about the sect vis-a-vis caste, sect vis-a-vis religion, and sect vis-a-vis religion. And you will have to talk about the salience, analyze. You will have to analyze. So उनके विशेषता के बारे में you will have to talk. है ना? So that means when there will be groupings of caste, so caste-based ideology will be prominent in that. All right, caste-based. So that is a closed, since caste is a closed grouping, so that will be what? Very much rigid grouping. Or caste groupings will be very, very rigid groupings. All right. You talk about Karni Sena, Ranveer Sena, Bhim Sena. That is also very rigid. All right. So all the characteristics of the institutions of caste will be shown there. All the characteristics of the region will be shown there. So that is geographical in nature. Sect with respect to the region will be what? Geographical in nature. All right. It will be inspired by the feeling of regionalism over nationalism. Localism over nationalism. The feeling of localism over nationalism. And religion. Religion will be what? The one sense of belongingness from particular religion. So at times there will be religious what? Fundamentalism. Recent Udaipur beheading is indicating towards what? A sect specific characteristics. But yes, this is the characteristics. Yes, Khalistan, Kashmir, all these are what? The region specific, negative. Tamilian nationalism. Why not? So when you discussed about all that, the sect vis-a-vis caste, sect vis-a-vis region, and sect vis-a-vis religion, when you have discussed about all that, these three aspects, then in the conclusion, what will you say? Do you think that having a sect is good or bad? I have already told you. There is no harm in having caste if you remove caste-based atrocities. This is the Mahatma Gandhi's view. All right. So similarly, there is what? There is no harm in having the sect if there is the fundamentalism. There is a check on fundamentalism associated with that. All right. So and sect specific stereotype mechanism should not be there. Stereotype mechanism should not be there. All right. So these are the conclusion. Next question. Dekho. Are tolerance, assimilation, and pluralism are the key elements in making of an Indian form of secularism? Justify your answer. Tolerance, assimilation, and pluralism is the key elements. So question itself has given the structure. Assimilation. First is tolerance. What do you understand by tolerance? Yes. Have the equal respect for the views of other religions. All right. So tolerance should be there in your cultural system, political administrative system, and socio-cultural system. What do you mean by assimilation? So yes, indulgence of or mixing of means there is a space for every religion. So that is what? Assimilation. And pluralism, that you recognize the difference in opinion. So that is what? Pluralism, or different point of view, different communities which are there. So you will say in the beginning, Indian form of secularism is the positive connotation of secularism, which are based upon three fundamental pillars like tolerance, assimilation, and pluralism. Tolerance, assimilation, and what? Pluralism. You can begin when the world community was doing the Jewish Holocaust, है at that time India was India gave shelter to some of the Jews, so that indicates what's the spirit of secularism which is there. All right, so tolerance vis-a-vis Indian secularism. So constitutional aspect, yes, why not? Constitutional aspect of tolerance, है so when you talk about the constitutional aspect, so you'll have this 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, all these are indicating towards what? Tolerance or pluralism also, or assimilation also. So you will have the a doctrine of principled distance. Principled distance. You will create this diagram, which I have told you several times, that this one is a state and this one is a religion. R1, R2, R3, R4. So this is what? This is all the principled distance. All right. So tolerance, assimilation, and pluralism are key elements in making an Indian form of secularism. Can you write this question then? Can you write constitutional aspect of secularism, legal aspect of secularism? What is legal aspect of secularism? I say uniform civil code. Uniform civil code, that will be there. I'll tell you about the what? The policy aspect of secularism. Do you have any policy aspect of secularism where you see the tolerance? Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. है ना, एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत. So that's the scheme. All right. So yes, India provides Hajj subsidy, so that is a thing which you can say. So this is how you can justify your answer, है ना? Now, so and then conclusion. Conclusion should be what? On the basis of Indian secularism. Yes, Indian secularism is a very progressive secularism. Is a very progressive secularism, and it set a benchmark. It sets a benchmark for world communities to learn from Indian secularism. क्या जरूरत नहीं है, डाल सकते हो, थोड़ा बहुत डाल सकते हैं, लेकिन you need to focus upon, you need to justify according to the question. Next question and the last question. Elucidate the relationship between globalization and new technology in the world of scarce resources with a special reference to India. What a beautiful question. What a beautiful question. Look at this. Globalization and new technology in a world of scarce resources with a specific reference to India. आप पर्याप्त संसाधनों के भूमंडलीकरण नए तकनीक के रिश्ते को भारत के विशेष संदर्भ में स्पष्ट करें. So if I say how globalization is linked with diffusion of innovation in the developing countries and these developing countries specific with respect to India. So I say digitalization. I say industrial revolution 4.0. I'll say this cyber technologies, this nanotechnology or this blockchain technology which is there. No, kaha se there is no strict separation. There is no strict separation that artificial intelligence only coming from United States. It is not that case. All right. In you can say about there are projects like NISAR, NASA and ISRO coming together. All right. Agriculture, India with Israel, rose in desert technology. All right. In in industries, service sector, specifically KPOs, knowledge processing industries and business processing industries, and pharma sector. All right, all right. And then you talk about the yes, in missile technology. Why not in space technology? In missile technology, in space technology, in agriculture, in health sector, in the marine resources based technology, in alternative scheme of energy based technology, for example, shale gas, India US cooperation, nuclear technology, India Namibia. Where is the scarce resources? You do not just read one word and say that it is the question about the scarce resources. Read that. Elucidate the relationship between globalization and new technologies in a world of scarce resources. So resources are scarce. So how globalization is helping? What? There are two types of relation. This is what? Linear relation, and this is non-linear relation. So I'll say that globalization and technology transfer, this is linear relation. So I told you the things about the linear relation. I'll say you the non-linear relation also. So in non-linear relation, the developing countries will be what? Developing countries will be dependent upon developed countries. India is becoming dependent upon developed countries because of what? Poor levels of skills which is there. Because of poor levels of skills which is there. All right. All right. Understanding my point? So can you write that? Can you write that? Some negative things are there. Technological dependence, development disparity, technological disparity. All right. So this is how you can write. And in the end, you will have to talk about the conclusion. You'll have to talk about conclusion. Write the conclusion. Conclusion will be what? In conclusion, you will have to say that, globalization should be linked. Globalization should be linked with the technological development. With the technological development and a inclusive diffusion of innovation and technology. कहां क्यों जा रहे हैं उधर? ग्लोबलाइजेशन क्यों? Here we are focusing upon globalization versus technology. Think with in the framework of question. Do not just randomly think anything. Ana? So this globalization and technology, technological uprightness or technological diffusion should be integrated in a manner that it should promote what? Balanced regional development. All right. So this is the discussion of GS paper number 1, and trust me, if you're writing like this, you'll have the score in top 10%. Okay. So with this, we are going to have the discussion of paper number 2 from 6 p.m. Okay. Do not look tired. I'm not tired, so you also do not look tired. All right. And there's an important announcement that will after this mains, we are going to launch the mains batch again. In those batches, what we do is the previous year, very smartly, I will be providing you content which will be used here. All right. Some of the questions I have referred the previous content which I have provided to you. All right. So those content will be there. Number 1. Number 2 is the 5 years discussion will be there. 4 tests which are there, like the market, you will have the 4 tests and 2 tests for one-to-one discussion. So effectively total 11 tests will be there. So 11 tests multiplied by 5 subjects, that is, there are 55 tests which you need to practice before writing the mains. And trust me, if you do that, you know, there will be very good marks, top 10%. You will be getting the marks in top 10%. All right, because all these classes will be focused upon how to structure the question. Here also you saw that by giving simple structure to the question, to the answer, you know, you get a very beautiful answer. All right, and you get large number of points by giving simple structures. All right, so that's a very good thing. So okay, see you all at 6 p.m. Please come by 6 p.m. Okay. Till now 1 hour is left for the, I think, exam to be over. So until I get the question, so after 6 p.m. we will have the discussion of second paper. Okay. How do you find this paper? Was tough or easy? Huh? Bolo, tough tha, easy tha?
Average.
Okay. देखो मार्केट में आएगा, it was tough, it was unconventional. ठीक है. There are 18 questions or 17 questions at least where you can write a wonderful answer. All right, and this will always be the scope. Those people who have prepared well will be writing 17 questions with an extraordinary answer, and probably a couple of questions where there will be average answers. So that amounts to the score of 120 plus. And trust me, that is possible in this. Do we have world history question here? So mind it, बहुत सालों से नहीं पूछ रहा है यूपीएससी. Next year probably it will be important. ठीक है? So UPSC, what change it will bring? World history, post independence consolidation. All right. So next year that might get importance for 2023. So alternate year they will ask. So okay, see you all.